What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And if you guys have been around for a while, you guys have seen me struggle put tires on and off of bikes. Usually I'm using a 5-gallon bucket or doing them on the floor or something. And I'm pretty much over that, I'll be honest with you. So what we're doing today is building the DirtbikeTV tire changing stand. So I got the plans from Jay Clark and I followed them closely but still loosely, and we got the stand built. So what we're gonna be doing today is taking all the steel that we have and turning it into this functioning, pretty nice, sturdy tire stand. So let's go ahead, not waste any time, and jump right into the build of the tire stand. All right, so for a material list on the engine stand, and I've actually got the plans right here. Like I said, if you email Jay Clark, he will get those plans over to you. I am going off those plans, but I'm not going 100% off those plans. So what I've got is actually 4 pieces of 2x2 square tube. These are 12.5 inches long, and I've got one already kind of fabbed up here, kind of trying to see where I want to go with it, changing up some of the angles and stuff. But this piece of 2x2 square tube here is 26 inches long, and then there's my 4th piece of 12.5 2x2 square tube. And then what I've got is 2x2 square tube. Once again, this is all the same wall thickness. These are 6 inches long. These will be the legs. I've got one here that's 7 inches long. That's actually just gonna be to hold my tire spoons. And then for the plans, they've got actually a top that's a circle. I just used a piece of 8-inch flat stock. That's what I'll be using. This is kind of hard to get. I noticed that circle piece was kind of hard to get too. So I'm just using a piece of 8-inch flat stock that I'm going to kind of cut the corners off and kind of make a circle. And then one piece of 1/2-inch round stock. So what I'm going to do first is, like I've got here, I'm going to take that piece of 26-inch long and then I'm going to cut 45s on both ends of these 12.5s, and that will be my feet. So 45, that'll kick that angle out that way, and then I'll 45 the other end, and then that will be where I can weld on the feet as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut up, these 12.5s at 45 on each side. It should be from the plans a 75-degree angle, but I'm going with 45 for now. And I'm gonna be using an angle grinder. I've got a chop saw over there with a metal cutting blade, but it's not working. So angle grinder, 45-degree cuts. And the way I'm gonna be marking these 45-degree angles is just simply with a square, and I'm going to bring the square to the end of my pipe like that, or my square tube, mark that 45, and then where that end of that line that we just marked was, put it straight, mark that, boom, you have your other end. And then match this up right here, boom. And now you can take your angle grinder. I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut real quick. I got the other 45 in this piece here, and I think I might regret this, but guys, I'm no fabricator. I just like to build things. I think what I'm gonna do is probably cut these angles later, just because I wanna make sure everything is the same exact length, and it's best to do this when you are actually building it, in my opinion. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting the other leg on, and I'm squaring it up with this leg. So this leg I do know is a perfect 45. What I'm doing to square this up perfectly with this one is at the bottom here, I'm at 1 5/8, and at the top, I'm at 1 5/8. And this is a perfect 45, I know that. So this laying flat, this is actually now a perfect 90-degree angle. So that means that 45, 45 were there. And the grinder cuts are not great. I really, really wish I could use that chop saw. Got a little bit of gaps to fill, and not the end of the world, but I'm gonna go ahead and tack this real quick and just get this in place. Basically what I'm gonna do right now, guys, is since the gaps are so big with the cuts, I'm gonna need a couple weld passes so I can build up some material so I can weld this gap efficiently. Little weird and crooked, but that's pretty much what my cut is. So there it is. There's one side weld. Let's get this other side done. So that's 2 legs. Hopefully when we stand her up straight, put our magnet on there. It's not perfect. We're gonna square this up when it comes time to cut the bottom here. So not bad. Let's get those other 2 legs cut. Just saying, guys, check that out. Check that out. Got a couple other stickers on there. Of course, KP we got on there. And then Twin Air Vortex CBB sticker, 2 of them. Yep, I don't know. Working on a couple things. Just squaring up the other leg right now. Good, all right, I got it tacked already. Gotta go ahead and get this one welded. The 4th leg, I'm a little concerned about how I'm gonna square it up, but we'll figure it out. Just get some tacks on each corner. That's what I like to do. If you kind of weld one side at a time, it'll tend to warp on you. So you want to get like all your corners tacked down first. Is always one really good trick, because if you just run this weld here first, sometimes the steel can warp and you'll end up with a piece that's all warped up. So also, guys, this is not a tutorial on how to build this. This is just kind of a build it with me kind of video here. So this is not a tutorial. Wow, that is porosity central in that weld. Let me go over it again, get a little closer. There we go. This one is all welded up. Time for that last one. Get that cut at a 45, and then this thing will be standing on its own. So I've got Chapel Roan blasting in my ears right now. Don't judge me there. But got the last piece here to get squared up. Oh man, I need a smaller square. That's my problem right now. Hold on. Go ahead and tack corners over there. Ooh, that baby's pretty. Let me get my actual welding gloves before I burn a hole in my hand. All right, so here is our current progress. We've got the base done. What we are gonna do is cut 45s in the bottom of that base. It's actually quite sturdy, but we need to 45 those on the bottom. And hopefully I don't regret not cutting those on the bench, but I wanna cut it here and try to level it as best as I can, because it's pretty close. If I throw a level on it this way, it's pretty close, but this way, if I rotate it, you guys will see we're way off. So we gotta go this way. So what we'll do is, with the feet, we're gonna bring that up. And our feet are going to be something like this. So what we're gonna do is cut this at a 45, and then these will be able to perfectly match up to those. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get those feet 45'd, and then we're gonna get those feet welded on. Okay, so the goal here is, you can see we got that cut on the bottom there. And the goal is to make sure we're level, which we're not quite. I'm gonna go ahead and shim this up just a hair. Let's see if I could use a square to shim this. Should be about what I need. Right there, perfect. And I'm gonna take this, center it up, and then what I'm gonna do with this end piece, now that we're level this way, we're shimmed up. I didn't think this part through very well, apparently. That looks terrible. I'll fix it later. It doesn't have to look perfect, but I'm gonna go ahead and tack this leg. A little wobbly right now, but that's okay. It's expected at the moment. I'm gonna get all these legs 45'd, and then I'll be back when I got the feet on, guys. All right, so here's the current status. We got all the legs welded on. This thing is sitting nice and square both ways, so it's pretty stable. It's not really wobbling around or anything, so it's sitting nice and level and all that. So what the plan is now is we're gonna be taking this piece of 8-inch flat stock. We're gonna get welded up to the top. This is what the tire's gonna sit on. And then I am gonna go ahead and drill a hole in the center of this where our 3/4 round stock's gonna go. I'm gonna drop it down and weld it underneath because I don't want that weld sitting on there because I want that piece to be able to sit really, really nice in there. So I'm gonna drill a hole in the center of that. It's not quite centered because I did cut this with an oxy torch, getting the steel off. So whoop, little squirrely there, but what I'm gonna do is drill a hole in the center of that and then get this round stock welded up from the bottom. And then we could drop that right in, get that nice and squared up, weld that on the bottom, so we will be perfect. All right, so I've got this squared up, 2 little welding holding clamps. I'm gonna get a little tack on it before it moves. Okay, so we got that top sitting on there now. I'm gonna go ahead and mount it, but I've gotta get it squared up this way, which right there is good. And then I wanna make sure it is sitting level, of course, which is not. It's a big memory of a bully. Okay, so we've got the top welded on. I'm gonna go ahead and just slap this on, just so you guys can see the idea. That's kind of what it is. I'm gonna get something that's a little bit less aggressive for the top here. What Jay did was use a piece of a cutting board, so I'm gonna get a cutting board on top, just so when I'm sliding this rim, it's not scratching up this hub. But what I'm gonna do now is cut 45s in this, just to take off these hard corners. Just grind the corners off and then kind of smooth everything out with a flat disc. So let's do that. All right, so the basic frame is done. That's all the welding and grinding we're gonna be doing for this project. So you guys can see that is the tire stand. We just took that 8-inch piece of flat, kind of octagoned it a little bit. That quite ain't centered up on there. That was a mistake, but it's already welded on all 4 corners. So yeah, that is what it is. And then I went ahead and also welded this piece of 2x2 square tube on there, on the side there, to hold my tire spoons. If I don't drop them all, you guys can see those just drop right in. So when I'm up here, I can just grab these out and they're right here. They stay contained with the tire machine. So this thing, honestly, is pretty solid. It's got a little bit of wobble in it, but I mean, it ain't going nowhere. So that is the frame of it all done. I am super happy with it. It's gonna beat doing the tires in the 5-gallon bucket. I cannot wait. Also, I just don't know why I just did a whole weld on that. I probably only need to do a couple sides, but I like welding. You know, I get carried away sometimes, but might take some grate foam and shoot it in here just so because it would look a little bit better, but I don't know. What I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna run to the hardware store and get some matte black paint. We're gonna get this thing painted up. All right, so what I got here is just one of those plastic cutting boards. I just ran to the dollar stores, like $8. And then I've got a big old hole saw. This is actually for cutting out can lights for like remodel cans. And this will fit perfectly. And I'm gonna put this over the top with a circle so it doesn't scratch up the hubs and stuff. So time to get some paint on this thing.